What celebrity did bad things but everyone forgot what they did because they're famous? Vince Neil was driving drunk and caused a crash that killed his passenger. Ted Nugent shit his pants to dodge the draft and has a song called Jailbait which ends with him pleading with an officer not to arrest him and instead share a 13-year-old. Boy George, he beat a guy with a metal chain after cuffing him to a radiator. Should make for an interesting sequence in his forthcoming biopic. Piers Morgan was the editor of the Daily Mirror during the Iraq War, published photos that he knew were fake of American and British troops abusing Iraqi prisoners. He was fired, but somehow managed to make a successful media career out of it. Steven Tyler became the guardian for a 16-year-old he was dating when he was 25, so he could bring her on tour, knocked her up too. Here's a list I compiled earlier this year. Jimmy Page was 26 when he started calling 14-year-old Laurie Maddox his girlfriend. Mick Jagger had a few rounds with Maddox around the same time. Also of the Rolling Stones, Bill Wyman started dating 13-year-old Mandy Smith when he was 47. He got her mother's permission. Steven Tyler convinced the mother of 16-year-old Julia Holcomb to make him her legal guardian, then snorted blow from next to her hospital bed while she was having an abortion. David Bowie, the beloved, managed to get Laurie Maddox's virginity and got her to bring her 15-year-old friend along, in addition to many other underage girls. Edit. Apparently this one is hotly contested. I want to believe David was better than that, but I'm leaving it in with this caveat, because I'm on mobile and can't prove one way or the other. Right? NOW*. Jerry Lee Lewis of course married his 13-year-old cousin. She still believed in Santa on their honeymoon. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll himself, was routinely in trouble with underage girls, and even the fabled romance with Priscilla is a tale of sexual interference. She was 14 when they met. Chuck Berry was arrested for crossing state lines with a 14-year-old prostitute. He was also recording women in the washroom of the restaurant he owned. Courtney Love says she gave Ted Nugent a blowjob when she was 12. He also adopted a 17-year-old so he could bang her without getting charged with kidnapping. He even wrote a song about avoiding pedophilia charges. Anthony Kiedis, Red Hot Chili Peppers, wrote songs about it too. Catholic schoolgirl's rule is about his hooking up with a 14-year-old at 23. Iggy Pop also wrote songs about sleeping with 13-year-olds too. Check out the lyrics to Look Away. Marvin Gaye knocked up his wife's 15-year-old niece. Don Henley, the Eagles, was charged after paramedics found him with two naked girls, aged 15 and 16. Edits. Everything below here has been appended thanks to the subthreads, thanks to the users who contributed. Victor Salva, director, raped a 13-year-old boy while he was directing a movie the kid was in. A movie which was nominated for a few awards in fact. Had a bunch of child porn too. Went to jail, and almost as soon as he gets out he starts working on powder. John Hamm led a fraternity pledge around the house by a claw hammer around his testicles, while other frat members beat him so hard his spine was fractured, and he nearly lost a kidney. Hamm later referred to it as "a bummer of a thing that happened. I hate this, not just because he hurt someone, but because it was so humiliating, and shows a nutter disregard for other people." NBA Hall of Famer Carol Malone, raped a 12 over 13-year-old, https://n.wiki.org/wiki/karl_malone-family. Edit. Better choice of words. Salman Khan, a very famous Indian actor. Edit. It's not the guy from Khan Academy. He killed someone by driving his car over them. I forget the specifics, but he drove his car over one or more people who were sleeping on the side of the road, killing at least one of them. He carried on with his acting career and on Indian TV because he is famous. Edit. Since this gained so much, here are some articles from the incident. https://news/2000/sep/28khan.html/m.rediff.com/news/2000/sep/28khan1.htm. He ran over 4 people, killing one of them. He was later found guilty 13 years after the incident, then appealed and was cleared and charges quashed. https://www.theguardian.com/world/2015/deck/10/Bollywood star Salman Khan cleared over hit and run Reddit. Thank you to whoever gave me gold. Carol Malone got a 13 years old pregnant and refused to take care of that child. Steven Tyler was a serial rapist in the 70s and 80s. Now he's an old woman. Jared Leto's been accused of rape by half a dozen 13 to 15 years old girls. George Wallace, the infamous pro-segregation governor of Alabama in the 60s, did not inform his wife that her doctor diagnosed her with cancer. Doctors during this time often told patients' relatives of their cancer diagnosis instead of the patient, especially if the patient was female. The reason was that she was running for governor as a surrogate for him, since he had reached his term limits, and he thought that the diagnosis would negatively affect her chances of winning. She ended up finding out about it 4 years later during a visit to a gynecologist, but unfortunately the cancer had progressed to the point that she died from it 3 years after learning that she had cancer and that her husband had known about it. He ended up successfully getting the term limits repealed and went on to serve a few more terms as governor. People forget about this, I'm assuming, because of all of the other shitty things he did. Edit. Her name was Lurleen Wallace, for those interested. Basically every rock star from earlier than the mid-80s has been confirmed to have had fucked a minor or 2 dozen. Just read up on any of them, they are all pretty fucking terrible. In my country there is a TV host that killed several people in a car accident. Twice. It was his fault both times. You can still see him on TV. Every time something like this is posted, no one cares about my comment on how Sean Kingston, the American/Jamaican rapper, has sexually assaulted multiple women near where I live and has gotten away with it every time by threatening legal action. If anyone actually gives a shit, I can link proof from a girl explaining what happened to her, but I will censor some things for her sake. Basically has doing rap shows and then Bill Cosbying girls in the area, or you can just look up on Google Sean Kingston sexual assault and many hits will come up. Fuck you Sean Kingston, your music's dog shit. Edit. I can't post the proof I was talking about w/o making a whole different post cause it's screenshots of the FB status they made. Not sure how, but this loser has been implicated in things like this as far back as 2010. The incident I'm talking about happened 2 years ago in BC, Canada. R. Kelly married Aaliyah when she was 15 years old in the mid-90s, and yet it took like 2 decades for people to start boycotting him as a sexual predator. He was still making songs with Beyonce and Lady Gaga etc. for a long time. There's a soccer player in Brazil who killed his wife, quartered her body, and gave it to dogs eat to make it harder to police found out. He went to jail for a few years and now he is paying again and making tons of money again like nothing happened. Edit. Okay, he is not making a ton of money. What I meant is that he's probably gonna have a pretty comfortable life and have his car back. Also, the woman wasn't his wife, it was his mistress, but they have a children together and still, she was a person. His name is Bruno Fernandes de Souza. Gwyneth Paltrow's a con artist and manages a MLM, as well as recommending women treat their illness by putting rocks up their vagina and steaming their privates, causing harm to people. You can say she's an idiot. Or just that she's a sociopath that loves making money off hurting other people. Emma Roberts beat the shit out of her then boyfriend Evan Peters, then continued to co-star in the same show as him. Creed Bratton has been a leader and a follower of numerous cults. Drake seems to be ignored for grooming a young underage fan at age 14 into being his girlfriend until she recently turned 18 this year. And now he's even, supposedly, doing it to a young actress. There was that time James Franco tried to fuck a teenager. After she posted the exchange on social media of her telling him how old she was and him not caring and still wanting to see her, all he had to do was go on a few morning talk shows a couple days later and say, "You don't always know who you're talking to online," and everyone instantly forgot about it. He framed it like he was the one who was deceived, and people just let it slide, even though that clearly wasn't the case. Jerry Seinfeld dated a 17-year-old girl in high school when he was 39 years old. Andy Dick has sexually assaulted people an absurd amount of times and also got Phil Hartman's wife back into drugs, which led to her murdering Hartman in an intoxicated state. You would think he would have been ruined in the #METOO movement. But apparently we pass it off like that's classic Andy Dick edit, to those saying Andy Dick doesn't really get a pass because everyone hates him. He's not in prison, which is where anyone else would end up for doing half the things he did, so I'd call that a *HUGE* pass. Coco Channel was an artsy. Tilla Tequila is an artsy. Charlie Sheen once had unprotected sex with his girlfriends, plural, when he has HIV. Can we have a reverse thread? Which celebrity has a clean background? Will Smith was an YouTuber Rewind 2018. Rick James. He and his girlfriend literally kidnapped someone and burned them with their crack pipe and sexually assisted her. But people just want to go Rick James bitch. Edit. Sexually assaulted not assisted haha. Mr. Mosby from Sweet Life of Zach and Cody killed someone in a drunk driving accident. Edit. Phil Lewis is unlike many of the others on this thread in that he was sincerely remorseful for his actions. The comedy troupe that he created helped spread awareness of the dangers of drunk and reckless driving, and that helped play a role in his reduced sentence. People can change with reflection, introspection, and genuine remorse for their wrongdoings, and he seems like a very good representation of that.